Hey, what's going on, guys? It's the blah, 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 blah. So it doesn't even matter podcast. It's tongue twisting, as you can see. Um, we actually got stuck in a closet in Narnia, and came out in a snowfield. We didn't know what happened. It took too long for us to get another podcast out. Sorry about that, guys. Hey, Titanfall's been out, and I gotta say, I'm happy and sad at the same time. I feel like the game doesn't have enough content to keep you occupied for a long time. While it is fun and unique, I do like some aspects of it. What do you guys think?
I love it.
I I've been playing it quite a bit.
Well, Ryan's generation
Uh,
too.
I should be like 3 or 4 by now, but I've been lazy and haven't been playing for 24 hours straight, 365.
Still pretty behind. Oh, but I'm getting better. I don't kill myself anymore.
I was telling him to
Be the
take out the
number one
minions
minion
and just go
killer
for
in the
them.
world.
That worked for a while. Yeah.
Well, so much. I just like jumping on Titans. I was saying before, I want to be known across all of Xbox Live. Watch out for, James, the guy that hops on your Titan and takes you out with his bare hands. I don't know. I just think it's so fun.
Yeah, I mean, I like it a lot, but one of the things that really pissed me off was they don't have a story mode, which kind of makes it, like I said, seem like it doesn't have enough content. The campaign's very weak in the game that they say is a campaign. It's really multiplayer with a little bit of a campaign story involved into it. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, you can finish it in a better part of like 2 hours. Um,
And the story was so bad it didn't even make sense to me. Like it wasn't really like a story to me. It was just like a campaign, like they're calling it a campaign. It's really multiplayer with bulletin points. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know.
basically they were saying, "Hey, go over here and get this stuff and do this," and all right, we gotta leave. Same as the multiplayer. I mean, it is innovative. It does have some unique things in it. I mean, I like the fact that you can wall jump and you can do the double jump midair with your little rocket boosters and stuff. So it is kind of cool. And being in a Titan does feel awesome, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like there's much to the game. I mean, once you get to level 50, we found out that you start over and you start out with nothing again, and there's no really incentive to kind of jump up into the next bracket and to restart over. And there's only 3 mechs, limited amount of mechs. I mean, I figured there would be at least like 6 to 8 mechs you could choose from, maybe six, and the game starts. And then as DLC comes out, they'd come out with like 2 new mechs or something like that. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And I think,
I'm just I'm mad you can't fully customize your mechs. Like it'd be really cool to have like a paint shop, where you go in, you put decals on it, get different armor. Like it's pretty basic.
yeah, definitely they should have had a modifier so you could put custom decals on it, different types of symbols. Maybe even have a symbol editor, something cool for you and your group, so you can have like teams and they can fight.
Or like airbrush logos
Yeah,
for your team. Like have someone have a team emblem, and you can put that on.
Even having team matches would be good. They don't have that yet. I hear
yeah,
there's some more game types coming out too. But they'll be out. They'll be free, and then DLC is gonna
yeah.
be $10 a pop probably for
Also,
for
I
those.
already bought the season pass. Am I gonna have to rebuy it?
No, you'll have it all.
Yeah, I mean, I give it my score. I would give it 7 out of 10. Um, I give it marks off mostly because it's a short game. There's no story mode, no Connect support at all, which is very disappointing. At the very least, they could have gave it at least function for the chat, because not everyone has the um, headset adapter for your controller. That's just coming out, so for them to expect everyone to just have all this money if they're forking out so much for the console, for their headsets, for the extra controllers, all these games, for the Xbox Live, for the internet, you got to pay for itself. I mean, it becomes a lot of money, and for them to expect you to have the headset adapter, I think that was lazy on their end to not program for it.
I think Xbox should have came with the headset adapter.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not like rocket science where they're just like, oh, we're just developing this and it's going to come out
they're
3
milking
or
it.
4
They're
months
milking
later
it
and then you can buy
the headset
it.
adapter. Let me see if I have it right here. You know, this thing right here could have been a 3.5 jack in the bottom here, just like the headset adapter. And this would have just plugged right into it. Then you could have, when the time came and they got all the drivers and everything for them, you could have just plugged your headset into it without having to charge people $30. But that's the thing. They wanted to get the $30 from you. So, more money for them.
That's ridiculous.
But they're a business, you know what I mean? It's how every business works.
Yeah.
They're all trying to get money, you know? They're trying to do the least amount of work for the maximum amount of profit. There are maybe a few companies.
Yeah, if they're not making money, then they're not actually a company.
mean?
They're non-profit at that point. Well, every company is like out for profit. Like if they're
No, but there's a difference
not
between
trying to
working
make
hard for your
profit
money
and they're not
and
actually
doing
like
it the
a
lazy
company.
way.
I don't understand how they're going to come out with a console and, you know, from what I hear, even Astros and stuff like that, the headsets are, you know, they're like, I guess you could say one of the chosen headsets that people would say, you know, are supported on the Xbox. And you even need an adapter for that. Like I don't know, if they weren't going to make it where you could just plug your head, like why couldn't they have put a jack in the bottom of the controller where it's just built in? Like I don't know.
Boggling.
Yeah,
Bottling.
it is.
Bottling.
It's bottling. It's
You're gonna put your brain in a bottle. Oh, is it?
It's a Will Ferrell quote. one of
I think
his
he's
movies.
just saying that.
bottling.
He's trying to save face on the podcast, so our 10 viewers.
That's
don't
something
think
Will
he's an
Ferrell would
idiot.
say.
No, I'm just messing. But yeah, I mean, I think it was pretty cool though that Xbox actually came out with a Titanfall bundle, lowered the price, so now if you do want to get Titanfall, you're basically paying was it $390 for the console basically, because you pay, what was it, I think it was $449 at Best Buy and Walmart right now. So the game's $60, and if you want to get an Xbox console, now would be the time to get it because you're getting it for cheaper than you would get a PlayStation 4 for it if you want the game Titanfall. So I thought that was a pretty cool deal. Also, PlayStation's raising their price up. As far as I know, it's only in Canada. They're raising it to $450 because of the Canadian dollar went like down, I think it was. So they raised the price of it, which is kind of funny because people in Canada were bitching. They're like, yeah, when the price goes back up, though, they ain't going to lower it, which is pretty true because that's how all these companies are.
Well, I don't live in Canada, so they can raise it as high as they want.
Yeah, but how would you feel if people in Canada said that and said, I don't care if it raises in America, I'm not buying it there? You wouldn't like it at all.
Well, according to South Park, Canadians have split heads when they talk, so I don't know.
They also live in an RPG world.
I always wanted to know that. Why? Do you have any idea why they did that with South Park, where the Canadians' head like opens
Just
up
to
like
do it.
that?
I mean, it's to
Honestly,
to make pretty much South Park is over the top. So everything they do is just to get a laugh out of everybody. I mean, it's one of those shows that tries to offend everybody, and I like that because you need to stop taking life so serious and just laugh at everything because. If you're not enjoying yourself, what the fuck you doing here?
Well, why don't you explain to everybody how much you enjoyed the new South Park
game?
You
guys can tell it better than I can. I only got to play it for an hour and a half. Thanks to Ryan here, we did the family share on Steam, so it's pretty cool. If you guys don't know about this, Steam allows you to share with people that you trust your games. So while Ryan's at work, for instance, or if he's playing on the Xbox, I can go on to Steam on my PC and play any game he has, or vice versa. He could do the same with me. He could play any game that I have. And I got a chance.
Why do you have to trust the person?
No, I own every single game.
Yeah, because he plays
I
games.
already own every game that you have.
Or buys games that don't
Why do you
play
have to
them at
trust
all.
the
Him and Bert
people?
are the worst.
Mine are still all wrapped.
I don't doubt that. I really don't.
I think I believe I have 200 and let's say 10 games between all my systems, and I think only maybe 13 are open.
Game developers out there, you owe Bird at least one free game for him supporting you guys, because he's basically paying for your Ferraris. Meanwhile, he's not even playing the games.
No, but just as long as I own it, that's all that matters.
You just nestle
I'm
it
whole
underneath
inside.
your pillow, and you wake up in the night. It's still there. It's still there. Oh, okay.
No, for some reason, like when I buy a game, even if I don't play it, like my brain tricks me into thinking I played it, and I don't even need to play it at that point.
I've ever heard. What are you, like Neo in the Matrix?
No,
You
it's
download it in
cool
your sleep,
because
you're like, oh, that game was fucking amazing.
He puts his hand on the game. Oh, I beat the game already.
Earlier he was saying,
man,
you're not going to get Watch Dogs, and I told him, I was like, there's too many games, I don't have enough time to play them all. You know, he's like, I can just envision you being really good at the game, T, and you're going to be using all the city to your advantage through hacking and stuff. And I was just laughing. I was like, yeah. It's like...
You'd have your name, and you'd be a hacker named Acid
we already played it just by talking about it. Like, I'm done. I still have to buy it, but
yeah, rather than putting
once I'm 50% there.
So you'd make Ryan's life a little easier.
Yeah, just sell all those games, right? And get like
some of them
40
probably.
Well, no, the only problem is
like some rare ass game that nobody has, and he's like, oh man, sitting on a mint, you don't even realize it. I'm sorry, sleeping on it. He's got it under his pillow.
I got Mario for N64. It's never been opened. It's like I got Mario 64. It's never been opened.
No, I have pretty much all my games are for PS3. The majority of them, and then I got a few, like maybe 8 or 9 PlayStation and like 8 Xbox One games. So, but I got almost all my games are for the PlayStation 3. So, but like I said, I mean, it is kind of stupid what I did, because I was checking it out the other day. I mean, I paid $60 for all my games. So let's say 210 games at $60 a piece. What's that equal? Anybody have a calculator?
All right, I'll do that right now.
Games at 60?
210 games times 60.
Do the math.
64. So that's it. Oh man, you could get a nice PC.
He probably would have a better
Titans,
PC than I have, and mine costs
$140.
Well, right there, you said what, 13,000 I spent on games, and that's not even the systems.
I told you earlier you spent wastefully. Jesus, you have a house by now. If you just get your shit.
I told my mom the other day. I told my mom, I said, Mom, if I ever die, just go up in my room, get my games, and go to GameStop.
Get $10.
And you'll get $11.50.
Get a free Xbox.
And you'll get $11.50, but if you take the cash option, you'll get $8. Oh, I don't know. I mean, back to the stick of truth. That I think the game's killer. It's so funny. What did you first see when? What did you think about when you entered those houses? When you're just looking around. Going in the house.
I don't want to give away too much, because
I
highly recommend it. All of us do, that you get the South Park Stick of Truth. It is just like you're in a South Park episode. If you love South Park, you like RPGs, it's right up there. You're going to love this. They're supporting it too with extra DLCs, and it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like the old Final Fantasies. It's turn-based, and you're inside the South Park universe basically as a character. And
and you're also inside Mr. Slave's ass.
yeah, but that's within the South Park universe, you know. Jesus Christ.
They need to have the expansion. The expansion should be the Matrix version of it, and then like they'll have like some other type of version too. Like the next one is like you're in the Matrix.
The Trapper Keeper version.
Did you see Paris Hilton up his ass while you were there?
No, there was a couple pool balls in there.
No gerbils?
No, I took the gerbil out of his ass and put it up mine.
I believe you. After you had your colonoscopy.
Funny. We go from TitanFall to South Park to talking about.
And I got this too for reserving it. Yay!
He's got the carbon.
So, but what else? Any other
Oculus
news?
Rift had sold to Facebook for $2 billion in Facebook stock. This is a shock to a lot of the people because this was a Kickstarter. So basically, how Kickstarter works, if you aren't familiar with it, is people go onto this website and they say, "Hey, I'm trying to get something started, something for everybody, and we're trying to make it, and we want to give it back to the customers." And a lot of people either get like a dev kit for this thing, which is a virtual reality headset for video games. And after they had developed it, then they just took it and then sold it to Facebook for $2 billion. So the whole reason that they were able to make this device was because people donated money and then they just turned around and just sold it. I think that's kind of shady. It's pretty fucked up because, you know, if you're doing something, especially like on Kickstarter, it should be your passion. It should be something that you really want to do. You don't have the money to do it, and people believe in you and donate money to help you out, and then you turn around trying to make a profit off of it like that. It's not right.
Well, what did you said it was sold to Facebook? What did they want to buy it, or how did that work? Did you read about that?
Basically, what was going to happen was they were asking for money to help develop it, and then they were going to make the Oculus Rift and then sell it, and those who donated a decent amount of money would have gotten a Oculus Rift dev kit. Some people got the dev kit, but then one guy, for instance, was promised a Doom that was going to work for it. He never wound up getting it, so they backed out on like a lot of deals through the Kickstarter. So I actually hope they get in trouble for that.
Oh, that stinks.
Because I think it's wrong for you to not continue what you were working on. You know what I mean?
I just think, I don't know about necessarily being wrong, but I do think that they should at least, when they signed over a deal or whatever, said, okay, all the people that helped me out, you got to give, a percentage or, give it back, at least give back their money,
Yeah, that would be good. The thing is, like, big companies nowadays, they got billions in liquid. Like, Google can just go around, just buy up any company. Facebook can do the same now, and they might branch out into games and just start making games, or I don't know what they're doing with virtual reality besides, like, maybe adding to it and then profiting off of that, just because they have a lot of money to develop into it. And if you're a robotics corporation, you're just going to get scooped up. So, anything. Make no sense,
I don't know.
does
Who
it?
knows what they're going to do? They're using basically all the information they're gathering, probably with their search engine, to figure out where the most viable options are for profit. Pretty much. I mean, it's kind of why I'm against like the NSA doing what they're doing, because who knows who's using that information that they're gathering there at that center and what they're using it for. They might be using it for like insider trading type stuff. It's one of those type of things that you have to be careful about who gets all the information. Now,
there's a thing that actually happened a while ago, and there's a video I was watching. They were talking about something with like some stock thing, like a couple seconds on the stock went missing, and they don't know what happened. Like automated bots that like buy into the stock and all that are faster than humans, to the point where it sees like an algorithm and it's like, oh, I'm gonna buy all this and then sell it, and it was done within like 30 seconds or like milliseconds or something like that.
You
So
never
that
know.
could be the NSA doing something.
That's what's scary about everything being done over the computer, because anything that can be done can be undone. It's all programmable. Now, we actually what was it? Oh, speaking of programmable, they're actually making new computers that they're using magnets now to have the electrons inside the computer flow a different way than they normally do. Basically, it's the equivalent of like computers today are like a wave in the ocean, the way they're sending information. It's just flowing on like a wave. But they're using magnets now. They're finding out they can make electronics like 1,000 times more efficient, because the magnets are actually pulling it to a certain area and they're not losing information. It's pretty amazing that they're going to be able to make computers like 1,000 times faster now with this. We'll have a link up. You guys can read it and check it out. I can't really explain it much further than that. It's pretty technical, but
Pretty soon they're gonna have you're gonna have MRIs in your house where you could just go in the basement. Oh yeah, I gotta get an MRI.
Nothing like that.
Pretty soon we'll be living on Elysium.
Well, I just got, when you started talking about the magnets and all, it just got me thinking MRIs for some reason.
You just have verbal diarrhea.
I did want to say
more about anything that you fucking hear.
Yes, I do.
That was like me a couple minutes ago. I just didn't know what I was talking about.
I did want to say, I just got the new Infamous Second Son for PS4. Amazing game. Amazing. The very beginning, which I think this is a cool feature, the PS4 has kind of like the Wii used to, or I guess still does, but there's a speaker built into the controller. So the first part of the game, you turn your controller to the side, like this, and you actually shake it like it's a spray paint can, and you hear the little ball in the bottom of the spray paint can, and then you got to spray paint the billboard in the beginning of the game. It's just really cool how they integrated that, and they integrated the touchpad pretty well. You can turn in the black smoke and go through vents and just come out in like inside a building from the outside roof. It's just really amazing. So try to pick that up if you have the money. That's actually a game that I played. That's one of my 13 open games. No, that's Infamous. It's like
that's the one that has special powers. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, it's like you can jump on buildings and you get like different like flight and all different. It's kind of like you're a superhero. I think I was getting
mixed up with Last of Us. I think that.
Yeah,
yeah, that's actually coming to PS4. They announced
Last of Us is amazing. That's an amazing game too. That's one of the best games I've ever played. So.
Yeah. I hope it comes to PC eventually too, because I'll play it there.
Is that
it's. I mean, I don't think I didn't get that far, but I know that
it has online play. I'm pretty sure.
One thing that I do know about it is the graphics are so good. It looks like something that could be on the Xbox One or PS4, right now, like as it is on the PS3. Like they pushed the PS3 so hard. It's like why I'm playing it, my PS3 smoking. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, eventually the games will look that much better on the new consoles too.
Yeah. Well, it's just the beginning of the life.
The consoles, it's especially for the Xbox, because the Xbox they kind of went backwards with how easy it was to program for. They did like a PlayStation 3, because the PlayStation 3 was a pain in the ass to program with.
Yeah.
Now it's the Xbox that's a pain in the ass to program with. But supposedly they're saying there's a lot of hidden potential in it, and I know somebody was announcing recently that all the games on Xbox should be very soon all 1080p 60 frames, because a lot of people are bitching about it, which is kind of funny because when you're playing the game, like Battlefield isn't 1080p 60 frames, but it looks phenomenal. it's really good. Even Ryan was saying when he came on, he's like, "Wow, this actually looks better than I thought it was going to be." I said, "Yeah, I mean, you can imagine in 5 years when these guys actually have it figured out how they can tap all the potential out of the game, you know, it's going to look that much better." I mean, that's how Grand Theft Auto 5 looked amazing on Xbox 360. I mean, that thing almost looks like something that would be on Xbox One right now. But it's because they're familiar with it. They know exactly how it operates. It's a little bit different with the consoles than they are with a computer. It's not like a custom PC. It's a totally different way that they designed it. Granted, it has the same parts as a PC, but how its operating system works is a little different.
Well, you said that they're going to do something else with the Xbox One, didn't you? Like they're getting some kind of. Did you?
Are they getting?
Yeah, that's what
DirectX
you were
12?
saying.
I know
DirectX.
I've been hearing that AMD might be working directly with Microsoft for DirectX 12, so it could be like a mantle type thing where they actually like have.
I wouldn't doubt
system level
that. It would
everything.
be smart for them two companies to work together. But yeah, it was announced DirectX 12 will be coming to Xbox One sometime soon. That might be part of the reason why the games don't look as polished as everyone hopes them to be. I mean, in reality, these consoles were both released kind of as betas. There's so much that still needs to be worked on them. We've been coming across some problems with the Xbox One. Mine won't shut off sometimes. It won't turn on when I talk to it. So they know that these are the issues. They're going to work on it. It's all stuff that needs to be programmed into the console itself. It's not really hardware issues. It's more of a software issue. So they're basically trying to iron out all these bugs that they're having. And yes, DirectX 12 will be coming. There's no announcement yet for exactly when, but hopefully sometime this year we'll have it. The other big news is a lot of people were worried because wireless Xbox 360 controllers would not work with a PC. But it was announced recently that and this is all 100%, even the ones out today, will work all Xbox One controllers with a PC eventually. They will come out with an update. Now there is an update out there somewhere on the internet. It's an unofficial one. It's done by somebody that makes supposedly the Xbox One controller work. We're going to wait personally, me and Ryan, and I guess Bird will probably wait until he gets his PC to be able to do it anyway. But we're going to wait for it, and when they officially announce it, we'll let you guys know so that you can get the download and you can update your driver on your controller and enjoy games on PC with your Xbox One controller.
Well, obviously it's going to be plugged in,
most
right?
Most likely you'll probably have
the PC.
Because the USB,
it would have
USB,
to be
plug that probably comes with your charger kit to play.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was saying because you don't have infrared or that kind of technology on your PC to link it. It's not like it's a Bluetooth controller, so you would have to plug it in.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how the Xbox talks to it wirelessly. I don't think it's Bluetooth, but
I think it's infrared, isn't it?
It connects. Yeah, maybe. Because the top of the controller looks like it has something that's infrared.
Lights up. It's two like red lights.
Probably.
So it looks like a robot winking at me.
It's the Terminator.
Saying, "Give me crackers."
That's what you're talking about. You know that.
It's an inside joke.
No inside jokes on the podcast. The people watching don't find it interesting. They're sitting there like, what the fuck are they talking about?
What? I just wanted crackers.
Inside jokes inside your own head.
In Mr. Slave's ass, he asphyxiated himself and lost a couple brain cells.
Is that what happened? Did some other things in there.
What's the red dragon you were talking about, Ace? It's visiting Mars?
Yeah, it's a proposed Mars mission. Or, actually, is it? I didn't get to check this article again. I picked it out a few days ago, and then all the audio issues that we were setting everything up. Like, if anybody doesn't know, setting up a podcast in 3 different locations on 3 different cameras using a capture card to capture one, and then another one to capture the other stuff. complete mess 90% of the time. But anyways, talk about Red
What is
Dragon.
Red Dragon? I don't know. I might be slower than you guys.
It has to do with if there's life on
Okay.
Mars and any extra evidence of water on them in Martian meteorites and what's crashed on Mars. But it's proposed using a modified SpaceX Dragon capsule dubbed Red Dragon to deliver the equipment to the Martian surface.
That would be
And,
awesome.
It's a one-way trip. You
Yeah,
do
so what they do
realize.
is they
Oh, this is supposed
no,
to
it's
be a round
it's
trip.
a round trip.
Round
'Cause
trip.
they were saying people that were going to Mars
Yeah.
were going to be going one way.
This isn't people. I don't
Ah,
think
rover,
it's
yeah.
a rover. And what it does is it sends it and it ships it back. It sends it and it ships it back. And there's a launch retrieval that orbits
this is
around
the
Earth.
first
and
Dude,
comes
so
back.
basically
what they're
That's-
doing is the first steps towards having some type of system that will be able to send people back and forth to the planet. That's what they're doing.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. You said it would be a one-way trip. So basically they're signing over, all right, I'm going to go over there and just die over there.
It's not like you're going to.
Or get
All right,
stuck
we're
there.
giving you 10 tubes of oxygen and you're just going to sit there on the planet and suffocate to death. You know, it's not that. It's basically you were going there and you were going to be working on Mars till you died. I mean, pretty much, for the most part. Or
Oh, okay.
most likely what would have happened is if somebody went, because they're picking young people, they're not going to pick anybody that's sickly or old. So they would be sending people most likely in their 20s, probably late 20s would be going. And then you probably would work for like several years, 30 years. And by then they would already have a system that would probably be sending stuff back and forth. You know what I mean?
Well, the only way that I would do that, like if I was 20 and they were sending me on a one-way trip to Mars, is only if they had PS4 and Xbox on there.
I said before.
Well, you could
Yeah.
you could bring all your unopened games
Oh,
and
guys
enjoy
got
them.
brand new games. They just
Okay.
came out. I know, right?
You could sell
People
those
paying
over on
like
Mars
$10,000
for much more money
for
than
them
what you could get
on
here.
Mars. You'd be the only person with them. I said before, I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll go to Mars. I'll be the first person to send to Mars. I was like, but I want 3 things. I want a lifetime supply of oxygen, lifetime supply of food, and video games. And then I'm not going to do shit when I'm over there. What are they going to do? Come and get me?
That's a really good idea. For
You're off the grid,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
Just don't bring your Xbox.
I get over there and it wouldn't.
You can't stay off the grid, T, with an online subscription.
Well, if they can know where I'm at. It doesn't matter. They're not coming
Where
to
is he?
get me.
That could be a whole commercial. Just like shows the person he gets to Mars, they give him his stuff. They're like, all right, so you need to do all this coding and engineering for certain things with the robots, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah,
first."
I'm calling out.
Just like
I got
launches away.
I got Martian AIDS.
30 years later. Martian AIDS, did you just say?
I had unprotected sex with a Martian, and now I think I have AIDS. So I'm sick.
Is that why
Yeah.
why one of your third things wasn't women, TJ? You're planning to have the Martians
Exactly.
when
Did
you
see
get
how
there?
hot them Avatar bitches were? Damn right.
I don't know. I'd much rather have like a. Let's not discuss video game chicks right now. But Lara Croft was looking pretty hot in the new Tomb Raider.
down because of all the stains.
Yeah. You mean that wasn't a new Bullseye game that I made up?
Let's not discuss that because that's just disgusting.
But speaking of space, though, I actually read an
Yeah.
article recently that, and I've told this to Ryan before. This is an idea that I came up with. Was we have to get.
Are you sure you want to tell them?
They
Stephen
can take
Hawking
the
could be
idea, but
listening?
I
He's
want
just gonna take
1% of the
idea
money
for
that they
his own.
earn through this. But they were discussing how they're going to try to capture asteroids and meteorites, and they were going to get resources off them because some of the most precious resources are on asteroids and meteorites. One of the things I had proposed before I had talked to Ryan about this was that if they could find a way to capture you know, these meteorites and asteroids, attach something to them, or reflect them towards the moon or Earth and have them rotate around it. It had to be careful, especially if they were really big, because you could cause a lot of damage by having it crash into the planet, potentially killing us all, you know, if it was big enough. But what you would do is you would get it, and then you would capture it in Earth's gravity, and it would be spinning around its orbit, or the same with the moon. Or you could, like, find a way to, like, you know, slowly get it to land onto the moon. You know, there's ways to do it mathematically. I'm not a scientist, but, you know, imagine if you could pull all these resources from space. Space is infinite. You know, we live on a finite planet. We only can get so many resources here. So eventually we're going to have to actually go out into space and get resources. It's one of the main reasons we're going out there. So I thought it was a cool idea to be able to get resources from these rocks, and you basically have an infinite supply of energy at that point, and materials. And NASA recently said that they've been thinking about doing that, so I thought it was really cool.
Cool. How would it be an infinite supply?
You can constantly take material from space and bring it back to our planet, so therefore you would never run out of materials. You know, as long as it took less materials to gather the objects, you would be making more material. You'd be bringing more material to the planet than you were consuming. So in other words, if it took, you know, hypothetically, if it took 100 gallons of rocket fuel to go and get these asteroids, bring them to our orbit, and then bring it back down to the planet, and you gained, you know, a whole bunch of titanium and a whole bunch of iron and a whole bunch of you know, other things, carbon and oxygen and all this stuff that you need for the planet, or you need for astronauts out in space, then you're basically getting more material than you're using, which would make you have a surplus. Because right now we're just consuming all the minerals and all the material on the planet, and we're not generating any. At least as far as we know, we're not. You know, who knows? Some of the byproduct that we're doing, some of the stuff that we're doing might eventually turn back into it. We don't know. We haven't been, you know, we haven't been industrialized as a species long enough to know how the effects are going to eventually play out. You know, right now it doesn't look good, because we just watched a Vice recently that was showing exactly how the carbon in the air is going, all the soot that we're putting from the cars and from the factories and all, is going to ice and landing on it, turning it black. Therefore, the ice, instead of reflecting, because ice actually reflects, it's white and it's shiny, reflects light away. But when it gets black with soot from carbon, it's actually absorbing the sun's rays, making it melt faster. So our planet is actually heating up a lot quicker. Sad. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the whole Greenland seems like it's just
at the rate it's going in our lifetime, Greenland will be completely vacant of ice, and South Pole or Antarctica will basically be melted or almost melted by the time we're going to be passing out, dying. Yeah.
Passing out.
Passing out
and all that ice.
God, from the heat. Yeah, all the oceans is going to rise up to 330 feet too. Merman.
Oh, mermaids are made.
Merman.
Humans to mermaids.
Mermaid.
Mermaids and mermen.
What was that, Zoolander?
Merman.
It's
Something
really,
like
really
that.
ridiculously good looking.
This is a house for ants.
Yeah.
So tired that we're droning on with movie quotes. Let's end it.
But we're going to put a link up there for
over
some of these articles that we were just talking about that we read, because some of them were pretty interesting, so you guys can get more information. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
No, other than the fact that
I also got this new game. Well, it's a few years old, but I started playing it. It's called Mountain Blade.
Here we go.
Mount like you mount a horse, and Blade War Band. It's a really cool game. It's like a medieval simulator. I like it a lot. So if you're looking for a new RPG or an action adventure type game, check it out. I recommend it a lot. thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and we'll see you hopefully next week. And talk to you later. Bye.
Be on the flip side.